Hi, and welcome to Meetings in Math. Today, we are going to do some practice problems for solving special systems of equations, section 5.4 in your Jaguar JOTS. Our essential questions are: what happens to the solution of equations when the lines are parallel, and what happens when the lines completely overlap, making them the same line? Today you will need your Jaguar JOTS on section 5.4. You're going to be a few pages in when we're on the practice problems. You will need a pen or pencil, something to write with. A calculator is going to be helpful for these problems. Your problem-solving skills, your determination, and some bright ideas. So now we're just going to look at practice problems. We're just going to try to figure out, are these lines going to have no solution or infinite solutions? So when I look at this first one, I see y equals and y equals, and what instantly comes to mind is this idea of I have a card, and on one side it says y, and on the other side it says negative 2x plus 5. The other card says y, and on the other side it says negative 2x plus 1. So I am going to set them equal to each other. On this card, every time I see a y, I'm going to put in negative 2x plus 1. So instead of a y, negative 2x plus 5, instead of this y, I'm going to put in negative 2x plus 1. So I slid those into place. They are equal to each other. Another way that I can remember that I'm doing it was I said y equals y, right? This y is equal to this y. And now I substituted in those cards. I flipped them over. So now here are my variables. So I'm going to move this one over here. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So that is 0. So now I have 1 equals, and that is 0, and that is 5. So this is where the magic happens. I have this answer, 1 equals 5. And I ask myself, is that true or is that false? And that is absolutely false. And since that is false, that means it can't happen. Therefore, I have no solution. Just like before, if I was ever solving an equation and I ever got something weird happen where all my variables went away and it was a no solution, it's still a no solution. Why is this a no solution? It is because they have the same slope but a different y-intercept, so the lines are parallel. Okay, so if we kind of looked at that again, if we take this one, m is equal to negative 2, but b is equal to 5. And if we took this one, m is equal to negative 2, but b is equal to 1, you can see the slopes are the same, but the y-intercepts are different. But you don't have to show that part. All you have to show is this algebra. If you want to show this other part, I guess you can, but the algebra is the real fast way to get to the answer. So let's look at this next one. When I look at this next one, what I see is elimination is really easy to do, only because I notice I'm really close to having additive inverses. I am looking at my 2x and my negative 12. So on this one, if you take this 6 and you multiply it by 2x, you get 12x, and then 6 times negative 4 is negative 24y, and then 6 times 10 is 60. And then this should be negative 12x plus a 24y is equal to negative 60. So 12x minus 12x is 0. And negative 24y plus 24y is also 0. And then 60 minus 60 is 0. So you end up with this 0 minus 0. And that is true. And so because the statement is true, that means I could put anything that I want in for x and y. And so our answer is infinitely many solutions, or infinite solutions. And so we end up with this really nice way to show it. You could have also done this by substitution and solved out one of your equations for x or y and done something more similar like a. Let's look at C. Let's go ahead and take C and do it by substitution with some extra steps. Let's take our first equation and solve it out for y. So 2x plus y is equal to 5. So I'm going to subtract both sides by negative 2x. So now I have y equals negative 2x plus 5. Yes, it's a few more steps, but it's okay to take a few more steps to do this. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it into that equation. So 4x plus 2 y equals 0. But now instead of y, which is here, I'm going to put in that. Negative 2x plus 5. So 4x plus a negative 4x plus 10 equals 0. So 4x minus 4x is 0. So 0 plus 10 equals 0. So 10 equals 0. So again, here we're looking at a false statement. And since it's false, it's no solution. Notice on all of these, I'm not going to find a second answer because I don't have any variables to substitute in to find that second answer. We're canceling out our variables on all of these and either having to make a decision. If it's true, it is infinite solutions, and if it's false, it is no solution. So let's look at D. And let's go ahead and do this one again by substitution. I would probably, actually let's do this one by elimination. This is a very nice one to do by elimination because we already have a very nice additive inverse here with a positive y and a negative y. That there becomes 0. And I am left with a 2x is equal to 3 plus 3 is 6. So now I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 3. So this here is not a special solution. This here is an actual answer that I'm going to be able to find on a graph because I have a value. So now I'm going to take my x equals 3 and put it into either one of those. I'm going to use the top one because it's all positives. So now instead of x, I'm going to use 3. So I'm going to subtract 3 and y equals 0. Now, just because I got y equals 0, that doesn't mean it's a no solution or an infinite solution. This means that y is actually equal to 0. So my answer is 3, 0. So what I would like you to do today is I would actually like you to write down when it is that you have no solution and what kind of thing you're looking for when you have infinitely many. And what I mean by that is, what are you getting for answers here? So what are you looking for when you have no solution? What are you looking for when you have infinitely many solutions? And what are you looking for when you have one solution? And what I mean by one solution is this. And then I want you to make sure you tune in for our next lesson because we are going to summarize those all nicely into one type of answer. All right. Thank you very much for showing up. And I can't wait until our next lesson where we can summarize this all together very nicely and neatly and put a nice little bow on it. Remember to be nice to each other because we could all use some extra kindness in our lives. Bye for now.